Hello and welcome back to Green Acres Middle School. You might be asking yourself what is up for this year, what's happening next. You're probably asking yourself, who is this person speaking to you right now? Well, my name is Andrew Marsh and I am your brand new principal. And I couldn't be more excited to be taking over at an amazing school like Green Acres Middle School. Now, believe me, I sat in the very same seat that many of you are sitting in right now. And I always ask myself, who is this person speaking to me? What are their credentials? What should I know about this person? And what is their vision for our school? And so I'm going to answer those questions right now. As I said, my name is Andrew Marsh. I grew up in a very small East Texas town called Mount Vernon, the home of Dandy Don Meredith, member of the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor. I did love my time in East Texas. I couldn't get enough of East Texas, so I went on to college at Stephen F. Austin State University in the luscious Piney Woods. In my free time, I love to smoke foods. I love smoking pulled pork and pork rib and pork loin and pork kebabs. As you can see, I do love eating pork. I also love music. I played trumpet all the way through high school and college, and I still play locally at my church. I love rap music and country and rock, all kinds of music, and I use all those different styles in my classroom, making history songs. I still love playing the guitar today as well. I grew up in an all-American family, 2 boys, 1 girl. Awesome parents. I'm hoping I can be the same kind of parent to my kids. I have a 3-year-old boy. I have a daughter that's 6 months old, and an awesome wife. She teaches 1st grade. And can't forget my dog named Bosco. He's a basset hound. He loves to sleep. Now, my educational background, I did spend 10 years in the classroom. I taught Texas and American history while also coaching. I'm sure none of you guys have ever heard of that combination, a teacher that teaches history and coaches sports. I am just joking. It did keep me busy, but it was definitely something I loved doing. It gave me a great respect for the electives. So all of our band directors out there, choir, art, athletics, guys, you play a huge role at our school, and I know our school would not be the same without you. I earned my master's at Stephen F. Austin State University, the same place where I did my bachelor's degree. And surprisingly enough, I became the 2012-2013 Mansfield ISD Teacher of the Year. Now, if you saw me teaching my first 2 or 3 years, you would never expect someone like me to win this top award. Now, every new teacher, of course, goes through their struggles, but I think my weaknesses were even more magnified than a typical teacher. I have a very quiet, shrill speaking voice. I'm not very organized, not really talented at any one thing. My memory's average at best. I'm pretty shy. I hate confrontation. A lot of the qualities you do not want to see in a teacher. Well, by my 3rd year, I decided I really wanted to focus on classroom management, so I became somewhat of a police officer in my classroom. I had all these rules and really fine print posted on my walls. I was just waiting for someone to break a rule so I could stick it to them. But my kids weren't learning much. I wasn't enjoying myself at all. It was becoming a disaster. So I had to do some soul searching. I read lots of books, did some observations. And one of the books I came across was not an educational book, but it completely transformed my culture in my classroom. It transformed me as a coach. And it was a book by the head coach at Duke University. He's the voice coach. He's been there for a long time. His name is Mike Krzyzewski. People call him Coach K. And he had the task of taking over the 2008 Olympic team. Well, they hired him back in 2005, and he had a lot of obstacles. When men's basketball first began, they were awesome. We had people like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, people that understood basketball, understood their role, and it was really fun to watch. But over time, different problems started developing, a different culture in basketball started arising, and we started becoming a failure on the basketball court. We got knocked out of the Olympics and then the World Championships twice. And so they brought in Coach K to try to solve the problems, try to steer the ship in the right way. And the problems Coach K talks about in his book when he first got to the basketball team are many of the same complaints I hear from teachers, including myself whenever I was a teacher, about our students. The first is that they're entitled and they're very, very selfish. They don't understand the sacrifices that their parents and people around them make. They expect everything to be given to them with very, very little effort. They're not fundamentally sound. I know Coach K talked about he could blame the NBA coaches or the college or high school coaches for not teaching people how to run an offense or how to shoot a free throw or play defense the right way. Or he could try to find a way to solve that problem. And another issue was disrespect. You have guys who were not coming to practice because they were shooting commercials. The same thing we have in our classroom, not shooting commercials. We have kids who come into our classes late. We have kids that aren't giving us their full time in the classroom. And so in order to change the culture, he had to change culture at Duke University, and later he changed the culture for the men's basketball team. He established some standards that he wrote with his players, and they all agreed upon it, from the managers all the way up to the president of basketball operations. I gave you an excerpt of some of the Duke standards that they established. We see here excerpts from the Duke standards. Confront immediately, you have to be respectful, provide flexibility. And so I adapted these just like he adapted them for the men's basketball team to try to transform my own classroom. Made a huge difference. Instead of having all these rules established, we focused on, are we meeting the standard or not meeting the standard? We talked about things like unselfishness, allowing everybody to be a part of the lesson, providing care, of course being respectful, communication, effort, and all those things became the defining qualities of my classroom. And this classroom that was a wreck when I first got there really started to function at a high level. I was featured in the Dallas Morning News and the Fort Worth Star Telegram locally for my philosophies and the way that I was changing my classroom. I started having teachers from many districts coming to watch me, to see what I was doing differently from other people, and I think they were always disappointed to see that it wasn't my talent that was making any kind of difference in the classroom. I became the teacher of the year at my school, as you saw, and eventually the teacher of the year for our entire district of 3,500 teachers. And I went from there to becoming a principal. Now, as I've transformed myself from a teacher into a principal, I had to establish my core beliefs. I think every principal, every leader has to have 4 or 5 defining things. I think really these are 4 or 5 things that every leader, every principal should have. The first quality is you have to be able to assemble a top team. One of my favorite TV shows from the 1980s was called The A-Team. It was about a ragtag group of former military officers. They were wrongly accused, but they made an awesome team that became mercenaries for good, of course. And it was so fun to watch them and see them playing their different roles. And they were always successful because, not one person, but because they had the best team. Everybody in this room right here is here for a reason. If you're hired before I got here, you were hired for a reason. If I hired you, you were hired for a reason. And that's because I think that you guys together can make an amazing team. One of my heroes, his name is Ron Clark. He's a teacher and principal in Atlanta, Georgia. He talks about the very most important meeting he has of the entire year are the meetings where he is interviewing and eventually hiring his teachers. Back to the 1980s show, The A-Team, Hannibal Smith, one of his favorite lines was, "I love it when a plan comes together." And it's really cool to see a team working together, a staff working together, all playing their individual roles, and then working in unity. Man, it is so much fun to watch. So hopefully, as I serve as principal, I can keep establishing a top-level crack team that will create amazing results. The second quality is to inspire and empower. I was a coach for a long time, so I do look at coaches for inspiration quite a bit. Two coaches I try to model myself when I was coaching. One has passed away and one is still with us. Their names are Tom Landry and Tony Dungy. They understood there's no perfect formula, but you had to establish the right character traits within your staff. Things like integrity, honesty, hard work, diligence, representing yourself the right way, self-respect. But probably the biggest thing those guys had was shared leadership. They never took all the credit for themselves. They were constantly reflecting that credit to other people. And they established amazing leadership among their organizations. Even after they left, their former assistant coaches became head coaches at different organizations. Their players took amazing leadership positions with their teams and with future teams. The third trait I think every leader must have is an accurate self-awareness. Now you might be laughing and say, why, if you can only pick 4 qualities, why is this one of your 4 qualities of a effective school leader or principal? Believe me, it is. If you've ever worked with a leader or a boss that has a very low self-awareness, it causes many issues for the staff. You're not sure how to approach him or her. You see there the picture of an historical figure named Joseph Stalin. I think he's a definition of someone with very, very poor self-awareness, very paranoid. Now don't worry, you don't have to worry about me killing anybody just here on staff the way that Joseph Stalin was killing his own people. What I am going to try to do is to understand the pulse of the school and try to be the opposite of the Stalin. Instead of looking at you to accuse you, I'm hoping to find you guys and lift you up. Show you guys ways that you can improve. Find a way for myself to improve. Ask myself hard questions. Ask you hard questions so that we're always pushing ourselves forward. We have to be able to separate truth and myth. When things are going great, a lot of times the principal will come to the front of the line and take all the credit for it. When things are going poorly, a lot of times the principal will close the door and blame the students and blame the teachers. That principal has to take the blood on the chin and find a way to improve things at their school. And the fourth quality, probably the most important quality, is to understand and cultivate quality instruction. You see a picture there of the guy I mentioned earlier, Ron Clark. He is a principal. He still teaches as well at his school. And he has a special situation at the school. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of like a fantasy school. But 3 things he tries to do is he tries to provide meaningful professional development. I think we've all gone through professional development where it feels like it's a waste of money, a waste of your time. I hope I provide opportunities for you to grow as a person and to grow as an educator. Provide feedback. I know there's some principals that act more like managers of the school. They just worry about the daily operations. I hope to truly be an instructional leader, use data to guide my decision making, to give you guys constant feedback, to be looking in your classrooms quite a bit, not to try to catch you in the act of doing something wrong, but to praise you for the things you're doing right, and hopefully guide you toward growing all the way around. Now, it's not easy being in education. I know there are many days as a teacher I would ask myself, is it worth it? Should I keep going? Should I not keep going? But believe me, whether you're a teacher or a principal, there's no higher honor than being a part of the public education system. You see here a quote by the famous Steve Jobs: "Being the richest man in the cemetery doesn't matter to me. Going to bed at night, saying we've done something wonderful, that's what matters to me." There'll be days where you feel like you're not making any kind of impact on your students. There'll be days where you feel like you're letting everyone down around you. You're putting in so much effort. You're using data. You're using research to try to improve your classroom, improve yourself. It feels like you're not making any strides. I encourage you to hang in there, to understand that I'm here to serve with you, not above you, to be on the front lines, helping our very own school, Green Acres Middle School, maximize its potential. Thank you guys for listening, and I can't wait to see